Welcome to Snap on This, a Marvel Snap podcast. This week's secret homework, build an exciting deck with Symbiote Spider-Man. I'm your host, LaurenWhatevs, here with my usual co-hosts. First up, Ben. How was your weekend snap? And keep it snappy.
Well, my weekend snap, endeavoring to keep it snappy as I sometimes do, it was a pretty good weekend snap. I played in the second Golden Gauntlet World Championship qualifier, and I happened to do quite well. With a 5-1 record in the Swiss rounds, I've qualified for Worlds. My tiebreakers, that's your opponent's win percentage on average, they were not quite good enough to advance me to the top 16, but my only loss was to, I don't know how to pronounce this, but maybe Alice Silvestro, perhaps? I don't know how to pronounce their name, but they finished 7th. So if you're going to lose to somebody, it should probably be somebody in the top 8, right? I placed 44th out of 792, which is about good enough for me. Congratulations to all of our listeners who competed. No matter how you did, you're champions in my heart. And I hope everybody had fun. I played a Surfer deck that is a very close relative of Wave Flourish, one of my classic flagship lists. It's only 4 cards different, and it's pretty easy to guess like what I replaced them with. The 4 cards that I cut were Forge, Jeff, Nocturne, and Copycat. And Forge, what do you think that became? It became Surge, duh. Jeff, what could I have replaced Jeff with? Only the new Jeff, Mercury.
Fair.
Then here's one that's like a little less easy to guess. What would I replace Nocturne with? Merlin,
Stardust.
baby. Gotta manipulate those locations.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry. I guessed out loud, so I didn't hear what the answer was.
Oh my gosh, no, you're allowed and encouraged to guess out loud.
Okay. I didn't hear what the answer was. What's the correct answer?
Oh, Merlin. I replaced Nocturne with Merlin.
I do know you love Merlin.
I was excited.
That was like the one thing I knew about. That was the first thing I knew about what I was bringing for this tournament was I gotta have Merlin because I feel a bit naked without him. But the final card that I cut was Copycat, and I was up until like right before the deadline for deck submissions. I was trying to figure out how to get her back in there because Copycat is great in tournament play, and it's just really cool to know what's on the bottom of your opponent's deck. But I was a little worried that I would run into some Arishem because I ran into a lot of Arishem last time. And so the thing that I guess you could say I replaced Copycat with was, I mean, this is just like a card that has to go in Surfer now, and that's Captain Carter. And oh my gosh, Peggy was doing some work. Oh, she's so good. Man. So that was a lot of fun. And I just, I play a lot of Marvel Snap, but I'm not usually trying all that hard, but it is fun to try all that hard sometimes. I really like to, just put myself right in it and just go, So that worked out for me, and I'm sure there was a good amount of luck that helped me get where I got. And if you did not have the same amount of luck, you probably didn't do as well. And I hope you try again next time, because there is a next time. So keep going, keep dreaming, keep chasing it. Yeah,
that's exciting. You made it to Worlds. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty pleased about it, to be honest. I was frustrated with my performance in the last one where I went 3-3 and one of them was a bye, and the whole thing was just I wasn't feeling, I wasn't in the zone. You got to be in the zone. But anywho, after that, I have not had quite as much time for gaming things because I've been traveling, and I actually got some computer maintenance done. I'm working with more RAM now. Ooh, new thermal paste. Watch out. Haha. So I haven't been able to play I haven't been able to play a ton of other games this week. But before I left, I absolutely smashed my Hades 2 goal on stream. I'd been trying to get 3 consecutive clears on the first 3 nights of a fresh file, and I finally pulled it off. And then some. I kicked Grandfather's Teeth in 6 times in a row, baby. Nights 1 through 6.
Holy moly.
So I think I'm probably done flexing on the early game, at least until the 1.0 release. But I am considering using all this footage that I've accumulated to make some kind of a video guide or like tier list for like early game boons or something. Because like it's just such a tight, like closed little ecosystem. There are only 5 Olympians you can get, and you'll always be missing one of them. You'll get 4 out of the 5, and on the first night, one of them is always Apollo. And Blinding Rush. Wombat Combat knows I pick Blinding Rush every time because you got to go fast. Anywho, I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but yeah, I've got a lot of footage, and I think it would. I have a lot of thoughts about which boons to pick and which to avoid, depending on which options you're trying to keep open and stuff. And I want to share that understanding with people if they're interested. Anywho, also, just after I announced it last week, I missed the very second Final Fantasy X Tuesday that I told everybody about. I was on the road. I couldn't do it. And so I made a point of telling everyone last week, and then I just didn't show up. So I feel really bad about that. Sphere hunting will resume next Tuesday. But despite this busy week, I've actually found some time to get pretty experimental in Snap, because that one, it's on the phone, baby. Such is the magic of mobile gaming. I ended up spending the tokens on Moira, even though I hadn't when we recorded last week, because I wanted to try some stuff. And I've confirmed my earlier diagnosis from the card rating episode that she would be great in an 8-turn game of Snap. I found her to be somewhat less so in the 6-turn version, or so it seemed to me. You know, maybe other people are having more success with her, but I think she's a little clunky still. I also dusted off Morgan Le Fay for some goofy science, and she gave me an excuse to play some Dakin, who is still very fun. Although I think these Bastion Dakin decks that I've been seeing around are kind of barking up the wrong tree, y'all. Anywho, that's just my perception. Maybe they're doing great for people, and I'm just not seeing it. I also started tinkering with just general discard stuff again for Alliance Bounties reasons, and I don't have anything good enough to share yet, but we'll see where it goes. I also...
Wait, are you doing Khonshu things?
Yes, I have started letting Khonshu into my heart.
Okay. All right. I'm curious then. Follow up, please. Let me know what you do with Khonshu.
I will. Another thing that inspired some experimentation was I got a cool new Zorn variant. I've always been a fan of the card, and I built something with him, you know, around the time of his release, but I sort of moved on to other things and I never came back. So I'd been meaning to get back around to him, and the new variant seemed like a good excuse. And yeah, I built one of these move everybody's cards around decks that I like to build. I have a very long history with those, putting Polaris and Heimdall move and stuff back before there was a Scream to reward you and stuff. I just Craven was good enough to be the bridge between moving your cards and their cards back then for me. And unlike my discard/destroy experiments, that one is actually good enough to share. So I'll tell you what's in it. It's called The Movers versus the Machines, because there's a fun movie on Netflix, an animated one. The Mitchells versus the Machines. I recommend it. It's good fun. And what's in this deck is Batroc the Leaper, Scream, Craven, Merlin, Zorn, Spider-Man, Silk, Hydra Stomper, Human Torch, Polaris, Cannonball, and Heimdall. So Zorn is kind of a bridge thing there, like Craven. You know, he'll throw your Human Torch and maybe your opponent's stuff if you've got priority. I do love a surprise Zorn. So that's a cool one. Also, for those who don't just have all of my classic lists memorized, the deck that I played in the Golden Gauntlet this time was called Tidal Ring, named after the Poseidon cast in Hades 2. It's a very strong cast. I highly recommend it. It comes with the Froth built in. Most of the other Poseidon boons that can Froth, you have to get Slippery Slope first. So this one is sort of more self-contained. But that deck is America Chavez, Surge, Mercury, Merlin, Brood, Captain Carter, Red Guardian, Silver Surfer, Hope Summers, Sebastian Shaw, Absorbing Man, and Gwenpool. And I have one more deck that is good enough to share, but it's secret homework, baby. So you got to wait. I don't know why everyone is baby today, but it's a baby day. So that's been my week in Snap.
Valid. Okay, thank you. Ree, how was your week in Snap and keep it snappy?
Okay. Okay. Well, first, just to follow up, last week. I did have an excellent board game retreat. It was on a lake, like right on the lake. It was amazing. We realized how much like a view matters, and we feasted like Vikings that had just like, I don't know, completed a quest, murdered a monster or something. It was just like tables.
Amazing.
Not just one table, but tables of snacks. Do you know that they make tubs of like dog treat sized tubs just full of Skittles? Anyway, it was like the most food we've ever had at one of these things. It was insane. Yeah. The whole weekend was spent in like stomach pain of like over, like I had been there in 1 hour, it had more grams of sugar than I would usually consume in an entire month. It was insane. Anyway, but the real magic was like, it was just like, we had so much fun board gaming. A few board game nerds out there. My favorite new game that I played there, which I didn't play a ton of new games, to be honest, was Harvest. It's made by the people who made the Parks game, which is very cute art. And like, little animal farmers. I'm into it. Stardew Valley. Okay. And we had like, they had like even a little fire pit and stuff, and it's just like, it's worth it. It's like that magic you feel when you can get like a group of people together, and you're just having that moment and you're just in it and you're realizing it, like it's worth it, like all the time. And I know it's so much easier to just not do things all the time, and it's always a weird tension for me who has people anxiety, yet I crave like the closeness and the connection of people. And when you pull it off and you pull it together and you're just like, this is the force, my friends. This is what connects us. This is like, what else do we have as a reason to exist as a species besides like our connections to each other? To be honest, everything's created out of that. Anyway, so get yourself a board game retreat that, reminds you of the meaning of life like that. Okay, so then I would like to, for funsies, pull out my tradition of convenience of roundtable question for the co-host, and I will go first so you two have time to think of the question I'm about to spring upon you, which is, I would like to know your greatest video game shame of the week, please. Your biggest mistake. If you are perfection itself, which I wouldn't doubt, then you can take it from somewhere else in your life. But don't humble brag, please. Okay. So for me, I have been doing the relic weapon grind for this expansion. Has been occupying some of my time. And which that, for my MMO, FF14, Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
Yeah. And this step has been like going to do a lot of like old like dungeons, raids, old content. And how that works in Final Fantasy is they let you sink down, so you can even play with your friends at lower levels. It just like takes your level, yoink, puts it down low. And I haven't run like old content synced for a while, because usually when I have to run something old, I barge in with my, my level, like, my top level, like summoner, and just like, poof, 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 you're dead. All right, boom, dungeon's done. Like finger guns. So I haven't done it at level for a while, which some of it is like fights I don't really remember and stuff. But when your level gets synced down, it syncs down your abilities too. And interesting thing, we're starting to see, because like Snap's getting older for a fucking mobile game anyway. And FF14 is over a decade old. So they've done a lot, whereas they've leveled up, they've kind of stretched out the abilities. So before, where you would have a lot more abilities at a lower level, now you have way fewer. It's a problem for getting new people into the game, because you have so few abilities since you level, because they've kind of like yanked them out a little bit. And okay, so I get down, and I'm not used to playing, and my class that I play Summers had a huge rework. It doesn't even work like at all the same way like it did when I was leveling it. So there's just like a lot of low level abilities, and I was playing, I realized partway through a dungeon, I'm like, I'm synced so low, I just have like 2 abilities, and I just I had forgotten I am a summoner. I had forgotten to pull out my summon, which gives me all of my abilities.
Oh.
Literally everything I can do. I could do. It's like a Pokemon trainer, not with their Pokemon.
Yeah.
Just like throwing Pokeballs.
You can't go into that tall
but
grass
nothing's
without
coming
one.
out of them. Right? Like, and it's so bad. It's like, and I feel so embarrassed because I've been running this with a lot of other high synced. It's like through roulettes, random stuff. So I've been randomly paired with other like high level people, synced down also on their relic grind, probably, or tombstones, whatever they're here for. And it's like showing up, and it's like I totally like get into the like. I remember thinking this as I was getting into a dungeon. It's kind of like, oh hey, oh good, we're all professionals. I see we're all synced down to level 50. Not that like I love helping a newbie. Always love carrying some new player in their fresh eyes through, and totally will always wait for them to watch a cutscene. Like forever. Like this is Final Fantasy. What is this, World of Warcraft game? Like, no, we're nice. And but now we can just get through, get it done, clean it up tight. All pros. And then I like run out and blast like level 1 spell, level 1 spell, level 1 spell. It's like basically what I've been doing. And it's got to be so embarrassing because you can see the party list. And when you have like a summer, it's like if you're in WoW and you have like a ranger, it's like you expect to see the pet, It's like, oh, where's your little friend? And just like, oh, anyway. So that is my huge embarrassing shame of the week. And nobody called me out on it. I'm just sitting here like doing nothing.
That's so funny.
Well, I mean, like maybe that's the advantage to playing with like newer people is that they won't notice when you're.
They aren't new. They were all pros. I haven't.
She was playing with other people who had synced down.
So they know.
Okay, I see. I misunderstood.
Okay, and it's the kind of thing where someone's gonna like I'm gonna go on Reddit and I'm gonna see a post and be like, okay, I would never call out someone, but like, because maybe they're just stupid or they're incompetent. I don't know. But did you see? I was with the summoner. She didn't even fucking have her carbuncle out the whole dungeon, just blasting outburst repeatedly, like some kind of imbecile. Anyway, should it like? It's like how I'm always like knocking people I don't think should program because I see their code, and it's like I am the loser. I don't belong. Anyway, okay, that is my shame moment. Honestly, it just happened to me earlier today when I was writing. It was on my mind. Okay, let's go. Since we just had Ben's Week in Snap, Lauren first, please.
Okay, I've been playing Silksong. I will keep spoilers to an absolute minimum because I know
is it as hard as everyone says? Everyone's like, oh, it's so hard, and then everyone's like, no,
it's very hard.
It's not hard enough. Okay,
it's very hard, and I claim platformers as my best genre. They're just something I'm very good at. And also I'm a fairly patient gamer, which you have to be in games that are high difficulty and you're going to die over and over and over and over and over again. But and I love a Metroidvania, but something about Hollow Knight and Silksong, just like, I don't know if it's because there's so much more combat than platforming, or if it's because the benches are so spread out. Benches are checkpoints, but I really enjoy them while I'm playing them, but I also find them incredibly frustrating in a way I don't find other platformers. I've bounced off of Hollow Knight several times. I've never finished it. I've gotten like halfway 3 times. But I was like, you know what? We're going into Silksong. We're doing this. And right away, you learn that Hornet has a different down attack than the Hollow Knight does. I don't know if the character is actually the titular character in Hollow Knight, but the knight in the first game has a down aerial that just goes straight down, very easy to bounce off of things with it. Hornet dives forward at like a 45-degree angle, and oh boy, does that take a while to master. And so I think if I had to pick a great shame, it's that I just am not being patient. One-on-one combat I can do. I can learn patterns. As soon as there's 2 enemies on the screen, I'm panicking. And same thing with the platforming. As soon as I whiff one jump or one dive, I'm panicking, and the panic does not help. It makes things worse. And so while I think I did some things good, like I got frustrated with the game, I put my Switch to sleep for a few hours. Like, I'm proud of myself for how I handled it that way. And I'm having great fun yelling at the TV. I don't have to. I can control myself. But I'm having fun yelling curse words at the TV and saying, "What the heck, Lauren?" I mean, I'm kind of trying to be nice to myself, but also it's fun to yell at the monsters that are killing you. But yeah, it is. The thing that I don't like about it is like having been spoiled by more modern games like Super Meat Boy and Celeste, where you like respawn instantly and there's like hardly any downtime, and like if you die, it's hard to feel bad.
More modern.
What's that? Meat Boy, I consider like the pinnacle of modern platformers. That's the birth of modern platformers.
Hollow Knight, but maybe
it does. Yes,
I wonder like platformers like can be so weird. They're like, what if you're like a little weird baby, like binding a music, or what if you're just like a meatball? It's like okay,
yeah.
All right, sorry, continue.
So Super Meat Boy they were the first to be like. Honestly, I just loved every decision they made in that game was fabulous. But one of them was like, what if we made the game super duper hard, but you respawn instantly? So you don't have time to be mad because you're already immediately controlling your character again, which isn't strictly true, but still, like, it made it so much more fun. And Celeste does that very well also. And another thing they do is they have tons of checkpoints. Like, the levels are short or the screens are short, and you die in one, and you don't lose a lot of progress when you die. Hollow Knight is not like that. You have very far spread out benches, and sometimes they're like, I would expect a modern game that's considerate of its player to put benches right before the big boss fights. Hollow Knight doesn't do that. They make you go through a huge platforming section, fight a bunch of minions to get to the boss, and when you die on the boss, inevitably, you have to do that again and again and again, and that is incredibly frustrating to me. And so, trying to be more zen about Silksong, I'm really loving it so far. I don't know.
That's like every platformer. It's just like, and here's how I hate it, and it's frustrating, and it's over, and it's over again. So I'm really enjoying it. It's been a great time. Just like, you people in your Elden Rings, and you're like, masocore is what they call it for a reason. Okay. Oh, okay. Are you? Is that? Sorry, did I?
That's pretty
I hope
much
I didn't cut you off, Lauren. Okay.
No. That's good.
All right, Ben. Also, share your shame, please.
My shame. I guess my shame. I don't. There are so many things I could be ashamed of.
Ben's like, I don't know. I don't really do things that wrong in video games.
No, I super do. I mean, like, do y'all think I didn't try a seventh time? No, I let Ares curse me, and my hubris was my undoing.
Shame on you.
Yeah, grandfather cut me down on night 7. It happened. Other
after
things,
you succeeded
I'm
6
ashamed.
times to finally fail.
I'm ashamed. Well, I am ashamed about that. I did not mean it to be a brag of any humbleness or anything. Like, it's just not no brag there. I should have known better. I'd been at it for like 9 hours. This was a marathon session. My wits were not about me. But yeah, other things, I'm ashamed that I have never. I complain about it all the time because this is truly one of the great sadnesses of my adulthood. But my PS4 crapped out, and I just. It hurt. You know, it's very sad when you like move on to a new phase of gaming. But like back when I was a console gamer, I started Hollow Knight, and I was like, this seems like a very fun game, very much my cup of tea. And my PS4 crapped out, and I never tracked down another way to play Hollow Knight, even though it's like always on sale on Steam or whatever, and everyone tells me how much I would love it. And you know, the like 2 hours of it that I played suggested to me that I would probably love it. Maybe I didn't even play 2 hours. I don't know. I played like just enough to get a taste. And people come into my stream asking if I've played Hollow Knight because it seems like the sort of thing I would like. And I'm like, yes, that's right. Everyone in my life has told me that it is the sort of thing that I would like. And like, I'm probably like, I'm not living my best life because I've failed to tracked down Hollow Knight to play, and Lauren made it sound like so much fun just now, and everyone makes Silk Song sound like so much fun. And I guess I'm ashamed that I haven't been adventurous enough or whatever. Like it's also, you know what? Speaking of shameful things and bad judgment, I've been playing some. I'm not like ashamed that I haven't hit Infinite yet, because like I have been doing like experimental stuff, but I haven't been like snapping in a very in a very smart way, or retreating more accurately in a very smart way. I'm just like seeing what happens, but I'm not really all that ashamed of that. I don't know. There's lots of shameful stuff. Like, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I have plenty of shames. Not all of them that I feel like speaking on a podcast, but like there's plenty to be ashamed of, I assure you.
Okay. All right. I'm taking that I do have a little bit more. I will say I am planning on playing. I do have Hollow Knight for Switch, and I had been playing it before the days of Snap took over a lot of late night regaming when I used to game on the Switch, and that was the problem. It was late night gaming on the Switch, and Hollow Knight is sometimes hard when you're late night So like I did play it for a bit, and then I got to a point where I was just dying repeatedly to a boss, and I'm like, maybe we just fire up Slay the Spire. That's turn-based. Okay. Yeah. But I do want to get back now, because I don't know. I feel like late night has grown and matured and gained better hand dexterity, perhaps. Maybe. So we're gonna try again. Anyway. Or, I could play it during the day like a regular person, I guess.
I thought of a shame.
Yes.
Okay, so while I've been traveling and stuff and away from my ordinary setup and situation and without my computer and all that, I too have been, I have been playing some Slay the Spire. I actually, I have like, anyway, point is, I'm playing Slay the Spire on so many devices, and on my old phone, I thought I had cleared Ascension 20 with at least one of the characters, the defect. That's
Are you bragging 20. Again?
No.
You're gonna be like, here's all my amazing Slay the Spire stats.
I'm not good at Slay the Spire. Like, I'm not that, there are so many levels of being good at Slay the Spire above where I am. Yeah. But I thought I had cleared Ascension 20 with the defect. I'm going through my run history. I had not cleared Ascension 20 with the defect. And so I've been like, probably for 2 years now, I've thought that I cleared the highest difficulty. Totally fucking didn't. And you think I've maybe given it a couple tries? Yeah, I've given it a couple tries this week upon realizing this. Still haven't cleared it. That's some shame. I thought I had done a thing. I haven't done the thing. And after trying some more, I remain not having done the thing.
Shameful.
That does sound... Yeah. Shame.
Have you been telling people that you've done that?
No one's ever asked. But I've been telling myself that I did it. I thought I had done it, but the run history does not lie.
That story ended where you had been
failed attempt. It's the worst.
You should go to parties and brag about it, and then we can turn into it's like oh, the guy that's cleared Ascension 20 on defect. Okay, and then anyway. Okay, back to Snap. So, I did get Infinite, not through severe trying, but through just playing enough. I mostly played, and I will share the deck. I did switch off for some bounties and other missions stuff. It's generally, I haven't had a hard time the last couple months. I was actually trying to remember recently, when was the last time I was like, oh, Infinite is hard or whatever, or like I'm struggling this time. It's not as easy. It's like the last few months have been kind of not bad. Honestly, I think it's because I get started late and then everyone's already there. Yeah. So I'm just like, because as soon as I get to Infinite, all I do is play people in the top 5,000. I like never play someone who doesn't have the fucking number, even no matter how low I am. And it's like, when do I drop low enough that I fucking, it just irritates me. It's like, how are these matches determined? My MMR isn't that high that I need to only be playing like the top 5K. I know that. Okay. Anyway. Okay. What I did was I had enough tokens Because I feel like I've fixed my relationship with the game. It's no longer on my bullet journal to do like Marvel Snap missions daily, which it used to be. And then I stopped doing them when I didn't feel like, and for a while I was kind of dropping out a lot, but now I kind of mostly get them done, but I don't feel like I have to. It doesn't feel bad. I've kind of made peace that I don't have all the cards. Even when they're out, which is kind of fine because like for me, just recently this week, I got to enjoy the end of turn deck. I know it's already been nerfed. So I maybe didn't enjoy it in its peak heyday, which wasn't fun anyway, because then it was just mirrors. It was just facing that deck all the time. But now I can see the Sue Storm, with Marvel Boy, all that, and Black Cat. I was playing that. I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun, because I hadn't done it when it was like the big thing everyone was doing. So I opened up I was hoping for Sparky or Moira X. Why can't I say her name? Okay. Like Redshift maybe or something. And what I rolled for my 2 cards, it's a fun thing now. When I open one, I like to open a season 5 and a season 4, little like 1, 2.
Ooh, balanced breakfast.
Right? It was thematic because I got Galactus First Steps. Because I never got the season pass. They never responded to my ticket to fix the thing. Oh, yeah, PSA. If you get a code for a free season pass through winning it or however you get it, open the game before you enter the season pass in the web shop. Open the game in the new season first. Apparently that's the issue we found. Do you have more to say about that, Lauren?
I've seen a lot of people having this problem. I have to be careful about NDA, but like, creators get codes. And so then when people have problems with the codes they give them, like, I see that conversation and I haven't seen an answer yet, but there has to be one because it is affecting a lot of people.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't think about that when I was opening, that I was still like maybe hoping to get that resolved and get a Galactus First Steps. But that's not what happened. So I got Galactus First Steps, and then my season 4 was Silver Surfer First Steps. And I was like, it's not what I wanted, but it's so thematic. I can't even be angry. I love theme. Okay, so I was like, all right, let's check it out. Let's see what's going down. And I believe was just, and I think it's just a Meadow deck because it was the Auto Galactus First Steps at the time. And I've seen similar to this deck a lot. So I'm not saying, so probably you've seen the deck with, the great thing about First Steps Galactus is like regular Galactus is best as a surprise, right? Like if people know he's coming to the party, they're not going to the party, he's got to like show up unannounced. So, but Galactus First Steps fits that like heralds, like Galactus is coming, the whole winter is coming before Game of Thrones. Okay. Anyway, it does have that good feeling kind of to it, right? And I do love dictating where they play. You know what I mean? In fact, when I've decided where someone has played, I've decided my opponent has played to play somewhere, and then they don't, which happens rarely when I have decided that they will play there. It like infuriates me. I'm like, good job. Well done. You knew what I wanted. But anyway, sorry. I've seen players. That's the fun tension of Snap, right? Is when you're playing against someone where you have to be like, how smart are they? You know what I mean? Are they going to see what I'm trying to do here? Or do they know that I know that they're going to play Zola there, and therefore they will do something, because if they do that, then I'll lose. And you're playing those Vizzini mind games with your opponent, and it's fun. Anyway, so
like which layer are they on? What wavelength are they vibrating on, or whatever? Exactly.
I assume I'm smarter than them. That's just always how I play, which is why it's so infuriating when they don't do what I expect. Okay, but Galactus First Steps, right? This deck, it has Quicksilver and Domino, which it's like, they're actually fun to play. Most of the times that I tried them recently, they're a bummer. It's like, okay, I see why we have Quicksilver here for Wiccan, and then we don't have to make sure we've included a ton of 1-cost cards in our deck, but it's still kind of sometimes a bummer to play. We shouldn't mention, oh man, I haven't been in the media so long. We used to have a friend that was like obsessed with Quicksilver. Okay. Anyway, I don't know if they listen to the podcast, but Quicksilver is fun in this, in Domino, and then of course like Negasonic, because like they know that you're trying to get that lane because you just played Quicksilver and Domino, to be honest, even if you didn't have the Galactus there. And then that makes Negasonic so good. Speed, I love Speed. I got a good variant of Speed. And then it's just like a tech series. I mean, it's Wiccan, right? Obviously, because we're already doing Quicksilver, Domino, Speed stuff. But then it's just a bunch of tech. Copycat, as Ben was saying earlier, Copycat is just a good card, right? Any kind of good cards deck is going to have a Copycat. There's so many cards that you get where you're like, this at a 3/5, please and thank you. And also that means they don't have it. Yes, you know what I mean? So many ways that Copycat is like the fucking best. Okay. It took me several, this was also a moment of shame for me, is how long I realized that I'm like, why is fucking Silver Surfer for steps in this deck at all? She's there to play ahead of Wiccan, obviously, duh. So you can double up on the energy. I was so dumb on that for a while. Because it's like the only thing. And then it's just like, it's Stardust. It's Cosmic Ghost Rider. It's a lie. It's like your opponent hates you. As, when you're playing Galactus, your opponent should always hate you, is like the general rule of Galactus cards. So, and this deck succeeds, right? As much as you can knock Cosmic Ghost Rider, it can wreck some. Okay. Played at the right time. Okay. And that's what I mostly, played into Infinite. I called the deck, I know it's a meta deck, so it's not really mine, so maybe I don't get to name it, but I name like pretty much all my decks. I've called it Existential Dread because it's just a feeling of it. That's what I love, is the theminess of this deck. Look, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Stardust, Galactus, First Step, Silver Star. It's so like spacey. Elias, it's like if you're gonna, get eaten by cosmic horror, It's the way. All right. So, that we're going to talk later, I guess, about the OTA. It does whack 2 cards in this deck. I'm not sure. Yeah. It's already happened. I'm looking at. I'm gazing upon it right now. I just realized. In the game. So, probably it'll change. But that's my week in Snap. Sorry for being very unsnappy. I didn't mean for it to be non-snapalicious. Okay.
Yeah, Snaptastic.
Always snapalicious. Come on.
Yeah, it has not been snappy so far. I will still talk some about my Nuzlocke run.
Yeah.
Oh, talk a lot about your Nuzlocke run. That's what everyone. Yes, should have let you go first. Yeah.
I haven't figured out how to tell this story in a good way. So see, I think like a Nuzlocke would be a really good thing for like a streamer, because like there's those exciting moments. It makes the game, the turn 6 so intense. It makes the losses like sting. Like I think it would be fun for a Snap streamer to do. I hit Infinite on the second day. The hot location was Olympia, and I kind of wonder if that like soils my run, because there's a bunch of decks that do a lot better with Olympia, but my opponents had that same benefit also.
No, sorry, I'm blanking. Remind me what Olympia is.
Draw 2 cards. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it's a great location for any combo deck. Like, just makes you so much more reliable. And so I crossed the line with several combo decks. Invisible. Last we spoke, I was on the brink of the 90s. I think I entered the 90s that night, and then the rest of my climb happened with Olympia as the hot location. Invisible Woman First Steps, a deck very similar to the one Rhea was talking about. I went from 93.4 to 96.3, so that was a pretty good one. That was, I would think it was the 3rd best deck of the run, maybe the 4th. 2 of the best decks were the same ones I talked about last time. There was a Tech Soup and there was Nimrod. Those did very well for me. And then what I crossed the finish line with was a Patriot deck. I had to make a couple swaps because of cards that were dead, but not too many. And then went from 96.5 to 100.1 with that. And I crossed the line with Valkyrie. I was fully planning on using Negative the whole time, but Negative is a combo deck that wants to be reliable but does not like Olympia. You do not want to draw cards before you hit them with Mr. Negative. So that is interestingly one deck that actually is harmed by Olympia. And so I didn't use Mr. Negative at all, which is a lie. I actually used him like a couple times. So I was like, oh yeah, Olympia's dumb. I'm not going to use this. So although he was my my plan for making it through the 90s, I did not use him. But I'm very happy to have used Valkyrie. I should have warned spoilers for anybody who's following my comic retelling of this on Twitter or Blue Sky, because in the comic I'm only at like rank 77.
Oh shoot! I forgot you said you were going to do that. I need to look at it.
I haven't even been able to see this yet because I just got my computer back today. Oh my goodness! Yeah, and I don't have the Blue Sky on my phone or anything. I'm
like 5. What do you call a single web comic? 5 episodes? It's not the right word. Yeah, but there's 4 of them. There's comic? 4 panels. Yeah, so I don't know what they call it. Issue.
A strip. What? Comic strip.
Are they horizontal? I'd call it a strip. Honestly, even if they're vertical, I'd call them a strip. Okay, I'm 5 strips deep, and only at like rank 77 or something like that. In the comic, I have lost 9 cards so far. When I crossed Infinite, I had lost 67 cards.
Oh man, the graveyard of your Nuzlocke is,
Yeah, wow, there were some casualties, huh?
Yep. It was super fun. I highly recommend it to everybody.
Who are you most sad about dying?
There were a couple that I lost like very quickly.
Did you have a tragic last stand? Where they died? Like,
I'm trying to think. There were some. There was an intense one. There was a 50-50 on which card in my hand Dracula hit. But I won that 50-50. So, like, it was super intense, but, like, I won it. Let me go over my... I feel like there was one that just, like... I only played a few games with it, and it died really fast. Move died pretty fast in Cerebro.
In your arms.
Honestly, a lot of my losses were, like, bad calls on my part.
I don't think I could do Nuzlocke. I would just never play. It would just be bits constantly.
I mean, there's a lot of like retreating and stuff. Oh, Clog died in 2 games, and Clog is another one that like that is a deck I know well. I'm very confident with it. Like I am going to use this in the 90s if I have to, and it also has very few cards that overlap with other decks. Yeah. So like it's like a very good Nuzlocke deck in that way. I did lose Hood, and so I couldn't use Hood later in my Patriot Valkyrie deck, who should totally be there. But I think he was the only one who I was like, oh dang, that really sucks to lose.
I won't tell your other cards you said that.
Cerebro was kind of sad because I'm pretty sure I lost him right before the hot locations. It was like Cerebro, Cerebro is a great card for, I mean, it's a very strong card right now anyway, but then for Olympia to make Cerebro even more reliable.
Yeah. Cerebro.
Now I'm wondering, maybe I didn't. Oh no, I did kill Cerebro. I killed him in C5 too. That's the other thing I did that was dumb. I killed C3 by losing a bunch of important 3 power cards. Then I was like, I still have C2, but I played C5 first and killed Cerebro that way. It was very silly. I've had some people be like, I can't imagine making Infinite harder. It's already so hard for me. But there are a bunch of optional rules that make the game easier or harder, and so everybody can participate if they want to. I think also you could play without making Infinite your goal. I think part of the fun of a Nuzlocke is like that emotional connection, or raising the emotional stakes, and also being able to like tell a story about it. Something I have to do better next time, because I actually recorded very few of the games themselves. Not like screen record, but like wrote down what happened. Like I wrote down all the things that killed me, but I just wrote like Eliath or like miscounted Nimrods or something like I didn't like, it's not in the form of a story. And so that's something I'm struggling with in the comic.
You need to make it part of the Clip Hunters show that I have in my head for you. where you're like, punters, and I follow you around with the camera, and it's like shaky cam, and you're like, I've never seen a bounty hunter show because honestly, they sound kind of dumb to me. I've seen them, but I'm imagining it, very like over the top, and you're like, you're hunting those clips, and then this would be like either a spin-off or like a one-time event, and I'd interview you, and like, anyway, I think that's how. With all this time I have to make a documentary show.
So I'll have the Patriot deck in the show notes. You should play it with Hood instead of probably Yellow Jacket. It was fun crossing the line with some of my favorite cards, though. It's a Pixie deck, too. I shouldn't just call it, like, Patriot. It's Pixie. It's a funky little deck.
Yeah, Pixie's fun.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Super duper fun. Anyway.
Valk.
What's that?
Oh, I said, does that let you do some fun shit with Valk? Like Valk's
yeah, Patriot and Dazzler are both like lane tiebreakers with Valkyrie. So definitely some cool stuff you can do. Plus, Sentry's in here. Void gets hit by Patriot and also is a great target for Valk.
People keep doing that. Remember you talked once about how much you loved like psyching people out with the Void and the Hood, and then you just play Cersei. People keep doing that to me lately, and I'm just like, Lauren's laughing, and she doesn't know why.
Honestly, even throwing right, I love how hard people try to stop the Void. It's like, just play Sentry and throw right. Like, it's very enjoyable.
Like, yeah. It is, though. It's daunting because, like, completely letting a lane go is, that can lose you a game sometimes. Because then when it becomes you're only fighting, they only need to win one more lane because you've abandoned. It's just.
Oh, yeah, it's risky for sure. But it goes the other way, too, where I think sometimes losses happen because you spread too wide instead of just focusing on the two lanes you needed to win. Okay.
Accurate.
I'll try not to take too much more time. If you want to follow more Nuzlocke shenanigans or get a more detailed version of the story, go look for my cute drawings on Twitter or Blue Sky. Okay. We're going to quickly go over last week's cards because there's 5 of them. You tell me if you have new thoughts about any of them. I only have one off the top of my head. We have Viv Vision, Season Pass, Sparky, the Super Premium Season Pass, Moira, Awesome Andy, and Omega Sentinel. The thing I want to say about Awesome Andy, I don't even need to read off his stat line because it's irrelevant. I finally got to see his animation. It's pretty cute. Like, he does a little chalkboard and a smiley face next to the characters he's buffing. That's it.
He hasn't been a big player.
I don't think there's much of anything relevant about anything about Awesome Andy.
Aw.
Okay. About any of those cards, do you have any new thoughts?
They all landed about where I thought they would.
For me, the only one, I will say I did run into a Bastion. Actually, I've been running into a lot of them because, like, Victoria, everyone's been doing the Victoria hand is what that's this week's card. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was scrolling, looking at the cards.
I want to hear about last week's card.
This week, last week's card is Viv. I feel like maybe people have been down on her. Is that the general vibe? But I find she has been great for me. I've been playing her in several different things. And there's a lot of times. So, like, right, if you're at all dictating when you play, you can almost always get one free, like at least one free thing on her. And then now you are dictating where they are playing, which can help you out in some decks. And she's a lot of fun in, like, Surfer. And I started putting together a little, like, move Surfer for her, but it's not all there yet. And I've also been, just mostly the Surfer deck. It's been fun. Ooh, I ran into one of our listeners and a longtime friend of the pod, Ryan Wood. I'm not going to confuse him with the comic.
You got it right on the first try.
Yeah. Okay. Because it was funny because I think I was playing this Surfer deck because I was doing bounties, but I just honestly, I find Viv really fun and I like the characters. So I've been enjoying playing it. But it was like auto-decked. So it was a random, I was too lazy to like curate. So like it was just like a random of my favorite avatars and decks. in titles, and it's kind of embarrassing to run into a friend when you haven't, like, you know, it's like you just threw on clothes because you were in pajamas. You're like, I don't know, it's just doing bounties or whatever. So I just, you know, normally I curate my avatar deck and you know, titles so that they match, they're together, and they fit the current re-spirit and all of that. But sorry, you had to catch me with a random auto. Anyway, okay. But yeah, Viv, I think Viv is fun, and I like her, and boo on anyone who might hate her.
That is awesome.
And I haven't really played the other cards.
The thing I said about how they all landed about where I thought they would, I thought Viv would land a bit, like, I thought that a card that moved that much would have to be
a little bit better.
Undeniable, you know? But well, here's the thing. I want Viv to be good, and I hope that she is better than I thought she was. And yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I had no way called where Viv had landed. I was surprised that she is not more at least present, if not, like, I can't pretend to, like, know the quality of the cards because I've never played it. I'm just saying, I thought she would be around more. That was my prediction before the season started.
I think she's just really polarized. Like, she either snowballs or she doesn't, and mostly she flops when she doesn't. But yeah, I really don't know what I would do with her.
That don't, like, if you don't get them early, you know what I mean? They're not as good, and they're just one of those things that in your deck where it's like, hey, if you didn't get it the right time.
Turn 5 Viv is not anything.
But for things like Surfer, like, I have found where even just one trigger off of her onto my Brood, onto my Shaw, like, worth it, you know? She's still going to get hit by Surfer and get the 2. So she's still just great. Sorry, I hadn't played her in Surfer before this week.
If you're fine with 1, don't you just play Nakia?
Yes.
Yeah, but Viv moving has won me the game sometimes because I won the game once because they forgot she was going to move if they beat me at that location. They would have won if they had let me win at that location. It was that
but then we're asking our opponents to be playing suboptimally and to forget how cards work.
I was sweating because I saw it. I was like, if they don't, it was because of like, if this card is winning, it was like, you know, because of location nonsense. But I saw it. And like, if they let me win this location, if they don't play anything there, I'm currently winning, and Viv does not move, I will lose this game. And I'm like, and then they didn't see it, and they're like, cards, try to win. And I was like, you're very attempt to win is what cost you. If you had done nothing. Okay, anyway. Sorry, I get very intense when I play Snap sometimes. All right.
You're good. We'll go on to next week's card. This week's card in just a second. I remembered, I don't think I said about my Nuzlocke run that I wanted to say. It took 15 hours. And my normal climb to infinite is 7 to 8. So it was like almost exactly double to play the way that I did.
Interesting.
Yeah, I played 15 hours out of the first like 44. I was like, oh, that's, you know, sometimes I wonder how to fit any time in my life for things like chores and art. And here I am playing a lot of Marvel Snap. Anyway, I do love this game. This week's card, Bastion. For 3, on reveal, add copies of your other cards here to your hand. Set their costs to 2 and power to 3. Did you get it? What did you think?
I got it. I think it's a very strong card.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot of it running around. A lot of Victoria.
It is a fun card. Yeah,
it's all those things. The Bastion was the big bad of X-Men comics when I was a kid, so I sort of had to get him, even though he's
got him for the theme.
The best, like, I don't think he's like the X-Men's greatest foe by any stretch of the imagination in terms of like what he's about. But you know, I've got a lot of his appearances. You know, he was in a lot of all the comic books I got at the grocery store or whatever. You know, gotta get Bastion.
What were you doing with him? Didn't you say you had a Bastion deck?
Yeah,
or is that secret homework we're waiting for?
So
there's overlap. Okay,
can't talk about it. But I saw a lot of Bastion on the other side of the board, and seems like a very strong card. As I said, was not very impressed by these Dokken Bastion plans. I don't think that's I don't think that's anything, folks, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, in Victoria Hand, whoa, baby. Yeah.
Victoria Hand and C3 are both nasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly I've been seeing Hand, a little bit of Cerebro. I did not get Bastion, but I have been playing the best Bastion, which is a 3/5 copycat Bastion, which I've been getting because I've been running a lot of copycat. Is a fun card to run on certain new card weeks, right? Yeah, when there's a card a lot of people are playing, you're like, so this power 3/5 is exceptionally good in like almost whatever deck you're playing. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, a lot of Victoria Hands. I like, it's only been out for a few days, but if I continue to see as much of it as I have, I'm gonna just have to play a counter deck just to like, it's just everywhere and it is strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you, Lauren.
The OTA we'll talk about in a little bit, but it seems more like a thematic imbalance patch than like an attempt at helping the meta.
Yeah.
And while I like that, it is unfortunate that it aligned at this time when Victoria Hand is like,
yeah, what we need is
popping
5/8
off.
Enchantress. That's what we need
Like,
right now. That's the card for this moment.
Yeah. Bastion, I had a ton of fun with. I agree that I haven't seen him be super good outside of, Victoria Hand and C3. I've done 2 fun things with him that I really liked. One is just Quinjet. Anything is super fun. Personally, it was Quinjet and Grandmaster so that I could play the copies I just got and then get more copies on turn 5. But of course, that means everything has to line up perfectly. But yeah, Quinjet, super cool. Another one that's super cool with Bastion is Luke Cage, because you can make a copy of a gigantic Venom and then you play it as a 2/3 and your opponent's like, oh, cute Venom. And you're like, yeah, it is. And then you play Luke Cage and it's all of a sudden a 2/15.
Nice. I
don't think that's real, but like it's cute and clever. And that's the sort of thing that tickles me. Okay. He's a very fun card. And that I enjoy. But I think he's clunky. I think the 4 is clunky, and I don't know if they can change it because it might be too good if he's a 3.
Oh yeah, I think this card is already quite good enough. That's what I think.
Yeah, it was one of those where it's like he has a couple really good synergies, and that's going to mean that he kind of just can't go anywhere else because if they buff him, it'll be way too good for the good synergies. Vibe check on next week's card. Jim Hammond, Human Torch, a 1/2 at the start of each turn, +1 power for each bonus energy you have. And we did just today get like confirmation on the official Discord from Glenn that he's just looking at like how much more energy you have than the turn number. Doesn't matter how you got that energy. Any opinions? I think this card looks like it stinks.
Yeah,
I haven't thought about it much. No, Ree, you've thought about it. Tell me.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it feels like the Mad Thinker, Nick Scratch, that kind of 1-cost card where you're like, I see a deck it goes into, but I don't even want to put it in that deck compared to other things. Oh, but that does remind me, one of the best things I think I've said before Snap has done for me is like Mad Thinker showed up in a comic recently and it was just a bit. And normally those villains just come and go and I don't even remember them. Like when I've read so many comics. I know I've seen so many of these villains so many times. They don't stick in my head because I read so many and they were in one thing and it wasn't like an epic storyline. And this time I'm like, Red Thinker! It's him! Anyway.
I know that guy.
It happens a lot now. I'm always like, are these the comic writers playing Snap? Because sometimes when you see characters paired,
the timing. Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like, yeah, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was going to talk about Jim, so if you got something, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. The only place I can see him in is Greedy Fallen One, and in that case, why is your opponent staying in? Like, they can see your Jim Hammond on the board. They can see the 11 plus power that the 11 plus energy that you're getting next turn. Like, I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's something somewhere for him, but I can't figure out what it is.
But Lauren, I bet his variance will be fire.
How much growing do we think he needs to do to be worth it?
All right, sorry.
How much power?
Like, how much does he need to grow to be worth it, do we think? Because I still haven't made up my mind about this card.
1/6, which is doable, but like...
Is there like a deck where you're putting like Psylocke and Wiccan and you're just like, and then trying to do something crazy on turn 6 with a bunch of nonsense?
What about your Silver Surfer Wiccan one? He's going to be a 1/10 in that. Yeah, only when it goes right. And why is your opponent staying in when it goes that right?
I don't know.
And the problem is I have these heralds called Quicksilver and Domino, and they mean I don't need to have other 1 and 2 costs.
That's true. Yeah, he's awkward and Wiccan.
Oh, it's so cool to see Quicksilver and Domino finally be good in something.
Like, you're going to see him so infrequently in RSM, I guess. Like, I don't even know what considerations go into building an RSM deck. I've never done it.
You usually put in Tech and Legion. Legion is a requirement for RSM.
RSM could work, but I still like 1/6.
Only if he shows up at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Black Cat's a 1/5 for free.
You look at these cards and it's like...
I don't want to discount this card because of how much it's not my kind of card. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, if this card was good, I would not notice.
What was I saying? I was just saying, like, the problem with the cards is, like, you both have to get it out early and things have to go right for the synergy of your deck that they're not helping with. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like at that point, and literally whatever your synergy is, a Nico is almost always better. Something you could still maybe pair with something in your deck that you could still maybe play late to effect. You know what I mean? And that's where all these little cards that we're, talking about are falling into that problem. Yeah.
I was more comfortable calling Nicholas Scratch a stinker before Nicholas Scratch came out because Nicholas Scratch is my kind of card. So like I could see how he was not going to hit that mark. Whereas this kind of card I would never put in any deck under any circumstances, just like philosophically. I don't know. So like I am wary of discounting a card that I just fundamentally don't understand and don't vibe with, I don't know.
So I'm like thinking about it compared to like a Nebula, who I think is a great card, but Nebula's doing something, right? She has that control factor.
Nebula does so much.
Yeah.
Oh, what a cool design.
It's going to be
Nebula's
crazy with the Killmonger. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Deadpool's Diner is next, starts in like a week, I think. Well, I know it's about a week, but I think it's next Thursday. We'll talk about it then. Next episode, we'll talk about New Diner. Okay, now we're going to deep dive on this OTA. It was written thematically, which I think is super fun. Mm-hmm. I think they should do it more often. It was actually funny, too.
I know, it cracked me up in several places.
Yeah, the robots are taking over and, taking care of the tech soup meta that the devs have left us with. These changes to me, just overall, they feel like an experiment, and it's stated like explicitly in the notes that they're open to feedback and the metagame will continue to be observed, and more changes are coming, and some of these changes are going to be reverted, which is why I think this feels more like a fun experimental imbalance patch than like full on like addressing the meta. Even though I know they've said before that they want synergy to be more important than tech. We'll go through them. Shang-Chi, 4/3 to 4/2, and only destroys one enemy in a lane who has 10 or more power. A big hit. Thoughts?
Big hit.
I just want to apologize to any listeners who despise this OTA and everything about it, because I'm sure there will be some of our listeners who think this is the worst OTA we've ever received. And you know what? I think they might have a point. I just wasn't playing these cards anyway, and so I can't bring myself to be offended by any of these changes, especially like too much. But like, I especially like the only one card with 10 or more power. I kind of wish maybe it were targeted to like the card with 10 or like the largest card with 10 or more power. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
because I do think that this is going to feel like such a
412.
Yeah, but this is going to feel like such a half measure, or like such a less than half measure on like a gnarly lane where like where the opponent does in fact deserve some huge comeuppance, you know? Like I don't know. Like I could see like the point was to make the card weaker and worse. I just think maybe they overshot it by shrinking him down to like Wong stats, and like I think maybe they went a little too, I mean, that's the theme with these changes, is they went a little too far. And so like they opened with going a little too far, and that theme will continue.
The tension for Shang with me is because, like, some people just deal with Shang by trying to play mid-rangey, you know, where they're going to always keep Angela below 10 and, like, you know, try and keep their cards, however they're boosting them, just below Shang. But I never want to hold back my cards. I want them to reach their full potential. So my tension with Shang is, like, can they win, or when I'm playing Shang even, it's like, can you win the lane with just Shang, you know, or can they, if they just play Shang there, is that going to lose me the lane, or do I have enough other little power there that Shang isn't enough to win it? And like, this is making him so, for me, this is like, oh, this makes him so much worse. Like, right? Like, Shang used to destroy, this is my biggest thing against Captain Carter, is like, a Shang would definitely lose you that lane because you're losing Carter and all the big cards, right? If you aren't like you know, if you aren't trying, you know, to glass ceiling Captain Carter, to save her from a Shang. This is like really bad reasoning. Don't ever treat women like this. Okay, so like, I was just like, where am I going with this? This is all bad. Okay, but like now it's like a Shang does nothing to a Carter lane. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I don't know that's as far as we wanted to go. However, once again, getting into the broad scope of things, it's like, because these will all be played less now, they will certainly be more of a surprise when they are played, which I like. But once again, it's like 2 power isn't winning a lane, even if you just kill one of their 10 power cards. You know what I mean? You still... I've always loved tech. And the problem with putting all the tech to be everything in your deck is it's not enough power to overcome even disrupting literally all of their plans. What about you, Lauren?
I think it's interesting you're both so hard on this Shang change, because like it is a big one, but to me this reads as the one that's most likely to last. I could see him going back to 4-3, but
I think he goes to 4-5
or higher. But I think 4-5 might be a little too good. I think destroy 1 10 power enemy is a very good change for him. And I imagine they have the statistics on how often is Shang winning because he killed 2 cards instead of 1. I bet most of the time it's because he killed 1.
People are going to be playing so much more aggressively for Gamma Lab now.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like the option to go really, really hard on a lane to protect yourself from Shang. Like, it's fine. I can sacrifice 10 power. I have 2 more cards here who are, 10 plus power also. Like, I think that's cool counterplay for Shang.
I'm just thinking now, one of the best things Shang did for us by limiting power, though, is limiting the amount of mental math we had to do on how things big would get. Because it's like with Shang, it's like, I don't care how much bigger than they get than 10. You know what I mean? I don't need to figure that out because I'm just going to Shang that lane. You know what I mean? And now the problem is when it's like, when the power in a lane can get up to like 60, 70, and you're like, it starts getting too hard for you to math late at night when that's primarily when you play Snap. So like,
we'll talk about this later. Maybe we just talk about it now. Like these are all pretty much like common meta tech cards that are getting hit. And so that means the other tech cards are not being hit. And, I think that they're going to, take up more share because of that. So we have cards like Shadow King who did get hit, or Valk that are still solutions for my opponent has multiple huge cards in the same lane.
The other common thread of these tech cards that have been hit is that they're also the ones that all the low collection level players have, which seems kind of unfriendly.
Yeah, that's my least favorite thing about this.
Yeah, I mean, if they nerfed, like, if it was all Stardust and all the new cards, people would complain too, I think. Cause
take Stardust down to 4/6, do it.
But that's what I was thinking. This is what I think I was telling Lauren is like, when I think about the cards, most of the tech cards that are really bothering me or preventing me from having fun, it's like Stardust, because I can't do like Doom shenanigans. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff you can't do because of Stardust, and even Cosmic Ghost Rider, all that stuff. But these cards, I think the flip side I was saying was like, with these cards, with the classic tech cards being taken down, this kind of opens new avenues for like Sauron, right? Like, like Sauron suddenly doesn't have to worry so hard about Shung when you're putting out 3 10 power plus cards in a lane, So.
Yeah. It'll be certainly interesting to see how the next few weeks go until the next balance patch. The reversions are going to be by next balance patch, right? They're not going to let this go for 2 OTAs?
No, I think some of these cards are changing right back, or, well, at least changing again. If not to right back to what they were, to something a little more playable than these. Wow. Some of these cards are just hollowed out and like just donezo.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like so many low series cards, but like if they only hit high series tech cards, the meta wouldn't feel it nearly the same way, right? Like they just don't have the same presence as cards like Shang and Killmonger.
True.
Okay. Killmonger. So the experiment wouldn't work. Killmonger goes to destroying only 1-cost cards at his location.
So good. I'm excited about this because Killmonger has really kind of become a staple a lot. Like I do not play a lot of 1-cost cards. Like Nebula. I haven't played Nebula in forever, specifically because there's enough Killmonger where it just doesn't feel worth it in comparison to like a Surge or like, some other generically good card that won't die or at least will be good. And this does though. I'm like, am I even playing this Killmonger anymore in my Destroy deck? Because Killmonger was there primarily as tech against other decks, not just to get my X-23 and Deadpool and whatever,
Also, Killmonger sometimes helps you get around like Nowhere or Cosmo, and he doesn't do that anymore. Like
that's a very good point.
He is not nearly as good offensively or.
I can't believe he's not growing in power, right, for this?
Now he's more surgical, though. Like, you can spare a 1-cost on your own side if you want
to. We had Electra, right? Like,
that is the thing. This is, I feel like now Killmonger is just Electra.
But worse. So, because where are you going to play it? Maybe a Surfer deck as, like, tech that you can buff. But like I said, in my Destroy deck now that it's not tech against other decks, probably, maybe you want to take out it's like, is it worth taking out a Nebula or a Black Cat? Or maybe that's also in the same lane with a Squirrel, because probably they're just playing Marvel Boy and they've just got squirrels everywhere.
I think it might
all the ones here. You're right. Sorry.
Go in Destroy decks. I'm not the Destroy expert, but it's one of those archetypes that I play sometimes, somewhat. None of my Destroy experiments this week were good enough that I felt like sharing them. So I'm clearly like not, the Destroy expert, but like, I feel like destroying your own 1-costs in a lane is probably still something you want to do sometimes, at least often enough to like some Destroy decks will still run it, I think.
Yeah.
I still think
But
you
then,
should
like,
get a power boost.
the ones that are doing
I think it could
Killmonger
go to
to
3/4 or
reduce
something.
death, like, this is a huge hit to those decks.
That is a big hit. It's true.
Deathbird decks are dead. Dead.
Well, that just
Dead.
means that now they
No.
can print a Deathbird card because, they're going to at some point.
That's what this is really about.
That's what it's always been about for me.
I think Zoo's going to love this, obviously. Enchantress goes from 4/6 to 5/8.
Dead card.
I don't think she can survive
I
that.
like this.
Dunzo.
Counter
you like
argument.
it?
I knew everyone hated this one the most. I kind of like it for me. One, I'm willing to play a 5/7 Legion, even a 5/7 Cosmic Ghost Rider. I love a good 5 surprise card that will win you a game. Now nobody's going to be playing Enchantress because everyone's like, dead card. So when I rack their entire Living Tribunal setup that they didn't expect because nobody's playing the card, it'll be fun for me. And I'll play, it's a 5/8. I'm used to either just not playing a Legion because it won't win me the game, not playing a Cosmic Ghost Rider because I'm not playing, or playing it because that power is enough for what I need in that lane and that was the best card to play, or I'm playing it on Shuri's Lab. And, there's been times I played him out, not for the power, because 5/8 still I've played out tech, at that power for, when it didn't hit its thing. And almost always can you hit something. Almost every deck now has its Morbius or Mobius. But you know what I mean?
Mobius.
Like there's a Morbius for most art. There's like a Hydra Stomper now. Everything is something. Yeah, everything has every archetype almost now has the ongoing that benefits from it. So she's still almost always going to hit something. So I love this change for me, to be honest. My little inked white crackle fairy, Peach Momoko split.
Some things I
Let's
like
see some
about
action.
this change, primarily that makes Rogue better. That's cool. Probably makes Echo a little better. That's
this is
cool.
good for Rogue.
The thing that I don't like about this change is that
Okay.
I've been having a great time pretty much never playing Enchantress and just letting other people be afraid of Enchantress. And this is bad for me because, the threat of Enchantress was helping me out without me ever having to play her. So that's a bummer. And I guess this is good for the people who wanted to get a little crazier with the ongoing Cheese Whiz. I'm just not usually one of those people. And there's another change coming later that I'm sort of selfishly haha, yeah, my stuff. The sheriff's out of town, woohoo. But I don't know. Yeah, I think we'll see. We'll see what this does. I just think that there are some very gnarly ongoing centric decks right now. Your Cerebros and your Vicky Hands and all that stuff, and other ongoing decks. You still see some Spectrum ongoing around. I saw some of that in the Golden Gauntlet and stuff. I'm worried about this one, but I see some positive things about it, and I'm trying to remain optimistic and not bummed.
Enchantress is very oftenly run with Zabu or Sarah, so I think that's worth noting that she's going from 3/6 to 5/8.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up, though. Zabu, we hadn't talked about classic pairing of Zabu with Shung and Enchantress, right? For your tech stuff. So I'm is this a nerf to Zabu?
Well,
but it's it really just kind of changes. It is because those were the classic best
Zabu's
maybe
already
ones.
been on the decline, though. That's my perception anyway. I
Not
think the
for me.
nerf to 1 really did. Well, I don't know. It probably
You may abandon a cat
different
when you
people
feel like
are
it's not.
having different experiences. Probably.
I stepped bits ago.
I don't know. I find myself playing against less Zabu than I used to.
I do think, and I think this nerfs Zabu further, but it does change it. Because look, coming up, we have the Negasonic and Cosmo are moving to cost 4. So maybe it's just a different kind of tech.
Right, and they both have significant power bumps. Shadow King 2/2 to 3/3.
He's been this before.
We've had 3-cost Shadow King. He's a bad card.
No. C3 rejoices though, which I hate. I hate that for you, Cerebro enjoyers. I hate that you. I hate that you can Shadow King my cards. Okay.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead 3/3 to 4/5. I think this one's interesting.
I forgot to
she's
say
so
that
much less.
I like the Shadow King change selfishly for me as a person who is usually making the numbers bigger than what the card said they were at the beginning. So
yeah,
selfishly, hurrah.
Making more math for all of us.
Enjoy your time. People at first are going to overreact to this OTA and just not play these cards, but I think a bunch of them will come back when the meta needs it.
I think some of them are out of playability range.
The main place where I'm playing Negasonic, I am polymorphing her or Cerseiing her or Valking.
Yeah.
I mean, she's already 3/3, but like it's a lane that's getting Valked, and so her low power doesn't matter. Now she's a 4/5, and that's not like a huge power, but like 5 is decent power.
5 is decent power.
So that's the kind of power that can swing a lane with a Negasonic.
Right, but it's still so you need to play her in a Prio deck now, maybe with Elias, who's also getting nerfed in power. So I'm kind of just thinking, what are you pairing with to get the Prio you need for these tech cards? I don't know. I want to play her still. I have to figure it out.
Yeah, she still seems like a real card to me. So some of them are, I think, out of playability range, but Negasonic is still very justifiable, it seems to me.
And part of the reason I've noticed, like I said, I've been playing her a lot lately because of the Galactus First Steps deck, is like what's made her so much better. Because people are like, she's rampant now. And it's right. She's always been good. You know what I mean? But she's rampant now. And I think part of the reason is because everyone is filling their board so much more that she's also very useful if you just slot her on a 5 when they only have one spot left in a lane. You know what I mean? Like, then they've just lost. That's just a complete lane win for you. And it used to be harder to set up that scenario where there's so many places where there's only one. Yeah.
Something I do love about her, she's a card that rewards throwing Prio. I don't know. I like those cards better than the ones that reward having it.
Well, doesn't she also, in some cases, reward
having
more
rewards having Prio?
Yeah,
when you're surprised playing her.
Okay, you're right. She has a great design because you can use her both ways, right?
Yes.
I was like, that's how I use her. Is I get ahead and
Not
then
having Prio is when you can play her on 5 and just leave that lane alone because you want it, and now you can focus on the other lanes. But I guess you're right. In that case, your opponent knows it's coming. Sometimes can play around it. Elias takes a huge hit, 6/9 to 6/6. You don't play this card anymore, right?
You think not?
No, I don't think so.
Think this card
maybe
is
in Wiccan,
playable.
which is kind of the only place he is.
I think
mostly
that Elias did not need to be 6/9 at all. I think that it's been like kind of ridiculous this whole time that it's been 6/9.
Yeah,
I think this card sticks around. That's what I think.
He used to be my literal least favorite card in the game when he just
was rampant. Yeah.
God, I hated that card.
Goliath has just been trouble on and off the whole time.
I think he will get worse now too, though, with the Shung nerf, because now people are going to be way less afraid to play like just big power cards, which Elias doesn't help against, right? You're trying to get the combo stuff. True. And now people aren't afraid to just play out their big old
No,
cards.
but he helps against Darkhawk and Ronin and Gore, those types of big power. Black Panther, kind of. Red Guardian, 3/2 to 3/0.
I have been wondering
how small is 50% of his power.
How small is too small for Red Guardian? And I think this is it. I think this is too small. You know, at 3/1, I think I might have still. But like, wow, if you're not even winning the lane by playing him there,
he's a C0 card.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're knocking them down, unless they have one power, you're taking them negative. But I agree. But like Ravonna, friend, I keep talking about how I'm going to put together Ravonna shit. I'm going to try again this week. I'm committing. Don't commit. All right, I've already done it. It's too late. Okay.
She was almost in my secret homework deck.
Right? Or Agent Venom is in, that's where we go. Agent Venom with Red Guardian. And or your Cersei trick, like you said, the same reason you were, you were turning Negasonic. But I do agree that it's like you're doing something like that probably, or he's not the best all-around tech card anymore. Jug reigns supreme again, I guess.
I mean, Jug is a 4-cost now. Jug is.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And he's still just fine, more than fine.
Yeah, he's still very good. But
I haven't played Jug in a minute.
Cosmo gets the Juggernaut treatment. 3/3 to 4/6. 4/6. That's playable.
Yeah, those stats are a little too real for my taste. This is another one that selfishly I wouldn't miss if Cosmo disappeared for a couple weeks. I wouldn't be upset about that. I love on reveals. I love flipping cards over and getting effects. Comes into play effects. They've always been my favorite. Give me a creature that draws. Give me a Mole Drifter. I'm trying to draw a couple cards with a body on the board. Ooh, and that one flew. What a good card. And you could evoke it for only 3 mana if you just wanted the 2 cards. Okay, we're not here to talk about Magic the Gathering, but yes, things that go on the board that also do an effect are awesome. And I wish that Cosmo would just disappear instead of getting this like remarkably playable 4/6 side grade.
I'm going to take an Enchantress opposition stance here, though. I see what you're saying, and I don't really disagree with it. But for me, specifically, the way I normally play Cosmo is that I am playing Cosmo usually late in the game. I am doing other stuff, like almost, I'm rarely playing late Cosmos. And I want to hit them on turn 3 almost always, get prio, because that's when shit starts popping off in decks, a lot of times. And that's where you can sometimes tell where they're going to play. I don't know. So for me, this makes them worse for the way I play them.
I think
one of which was the Namora pillar,
It's nerfs for sure. It's just like twice as much power on the board.
Okay, that's the weird, unusual OTA. I don't normally recommend going and reading. I mean, if you're like super into the game and want to know all the reasoning and all that, then it's good to read the notes. But I think these notes are fun. I laughed out loud a couple times.
It's Dalek cadence, right? Like if you read these, it's
been too long since I've read it.
Kind of the cadence of. I'm not even a Doctor Who person, but like that.
No,
this
I think
is
that's
like
kind of the vibe, for sure.
The word exterminate is notably present, or like not present in the the stuff, but like it will be changed,
right?
Like that kind of thing.
They have binary at the beginning and the end is a teaser for the zombie season next month. Okay. On to our side quests. First up, and only this week, Secret Homework. The Secret Homework was assigned by Ben.
I suppose it was. Well, for those who may have forgotten, it was only 1 year ago this month that we got acquainted with the first of many things. Symbiote Spider-Man, the first straight up repeat character, the first activate card. Just a fun, an interesting design that neither, took Marvel Snap by storm, nor, it was neither omnipresent nor nowhere to be found. And it's been around on the periphery this whole time. It's a cool design. It got a point of power. I believe it released at 4/6. And people have done things with it. They've fused it with Nimrods. They've fused it with Galacti. They've merged it. Someone probably merged it with Penny Parker at some point. Who knows? Maybe someone did that this week. Who can say? So the assignment was to just build a new, fun, interesting deck with Symbiote Spider-Man. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I myself didn't exactly knock it out of the park on my first try. I went through so many bad ideas. One of them that I really tried to make work again and again. Not that much. I don't know. I thought it would be cute. I was like, what can Symbiote Spider-Man do that Absorbing Man can't do, or that like it occupies a very funny little space. And I was like, well, maybe it would be cool on turn 6 to do a double Doctor Doom, and have you've already got like Doctor Doom 2099 out, and that would have been cute. I never pulled it off even once. Like the deck just wasn't good. It didn't make any sense. It didn't agree with itself. So I tried like a lot of variations on that theme, a lot of cards in and out. Tried it without Electro, tried it with Electro. We were doing like ongoing things some of the time. I don't know. But what I did end up doing was just sort of a little combo-y soup thing, and as I mentioned, I thought about putting Ravonna in this one. Also, I have well, I'll just tell you what's in it. Oh, it's got a good name. It's called Secret Homework Wars, because that's
Nice.
where Spider-Man got the black suit. Secret Wars.
Very
Anywho,
nice.
Zabu, Nico Minoru, Surge, Lasher, Grandmaster, Merlin, Ironheart, Captain Carter, Bastion, Absorbing Man, Symbiote Spider-Man, and White Tiger. It's a real fun deck. A lot of the cards work together in cool and interesting ways. Merlin is so good. A lot of great targets for Once and Future or Polymorph. Ironheart, great card to Once and Future or Polymorph. White Tiger, another great card to Once and Future or Polymorph. Zabu, great card to Once and Future or even Polymorph. Sure, why not? And a lot of these cards are happy to have stats to like receive stats. Lasher is happy to have the stats. Captain Carter is happy to have the stats. Captain Carter, in a pinch, can be merged with a Symbiote Spider-Man to make a real tall lane. Symbiote Spider-Man is, of course, happy to merge with Ironheart, happy to merge with White Tiger, happy to merge with, like, even Surge in a pinch. It's not the worst. And depending on what spell you played Nico Minoru with, hey, why not do a little double up thing?
The double spell is so good.
Yeah, they're just like.
Will she end up at like 22 power or something like that?
Well, it depends what you did with her first. Like, one of my favorite things to do with Nico and the doubling ability is to make the next card be Ironheart, because that's just fun. So you can get big old numbers. A lot of these cards fit together in cute ways. There are cute things you can do with Bastion. Hey, you know what's a cool thing to have at 2/3? Captain Carter. That's the Mr. Negative version of Captain Carter, is just what you get with Bastion. It's fun to play. Honestly, even on turn 5, it's fun to play a 2/3 Surge. I discovered this during the most recent High Voltage. Surge is just once is enough. Surge is a pretty cool card. Let's see. You don't get angry at having an extra, like, a 2/3 Ironheart. That's a good thing to have. Also, you can very often play some things early with like Once and Future. So if you got yourself a turn 4 White Tiger or something, you play a turn 5 Bastion, and then on turn 6 you're dropping a 2/3 White Tiger and doing things, just all kinds of cute stuff like this. And while I was playing the deck this afternoon, I only finally found a good Symbiote Spider-Man thing to do just today. But I was shooting up the ladder, doing secret homework stuff, and that's how I know I've got the right secret homework deck, is when it climbs. So yeah, I recommend that list. There were so many fun cards that I wanted to put in it, but you only get 12, and yeah, this is just it's a loose affiliation of millionaires and billionaires and baby Paul Simon. I don't know, just some cards that sort of go together, some combo-y soup.
Sounds good.
Who's the next
Reed.
person? Somebody's assigning, right?
I'm assigning.
You're assigning.
Okay.
All right.
I I was gone on board game retreat, and I kind of lucked out in that I forgot about secret homework, but I had already been playing Symbiote Spider-Man because I'd been messing around with. I've been working on Nomura for a while, trying different iterations over the past 2 weeks, and Symbiote Spider-Man is still great in Nomura because you can, copy your Nomura, you can copy your White Tiger. But you can also use it since it is a merge card, you can merge with I call them Nomura pillars. I realize maybe that doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean? The 2/1 cards you're trying to, and the other 2 lanes you're trying to hit.
Absolutely. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can merge it there so you still have your 1 card, but it's this is why, one part of the reason I started messing with more was for Frankie Ray, when I got Frankie Ray. So, I don't know if I ever mentioned it in the past, kind of belatedly, when she first came out. So that's the kind of card, though, you really want to hit it with, a card that's going to double up. I do have issues with Frankie Ray and Nomura, in that the only card I really want to play 6 cost, I want to play in my Nomuras, is Odin. And when you have a card that is dependent on 6 card cost playing, it's you should at least have 2. So I was trying to put Doom in the deck, since it is some Wong stuff going on. So I'm Doom would be good, because I also put in White Tiger, but there was so much Stardust running around that it was it really put me off of it when I already didn't want to play an extra 6 cost deck, which kind of feels then I need to take Frankie out because she's, I don't know. I don't need to, but I hate it when I have only one way to trigger her. But some fun things I learned in the making of this were that for funsies, Colossus was he's going to be less now because all the tech cards are gone. Shang would still kill Nomura, but people will be playing less Shang. You know what I mean? So I have to fear it less. But Colossus was a great Nomura pillar, because it's one of the things you don't want to see late in Nomura when you planned out earlies of turn 3 is everything slides to the left. I know Ben loves those locations, or to the right. Yes, but you know what I mean, where you're moving around and it's Colossus won't move. Colossus also still beats Death's Domain, all of those locations. And for Nomura, they can't Shang him. You know what I mean? He can't be Shadow Kinged. He is
I was just going to ask, I honestly don't know the answer to that. Since they changed Shadow King and Luke Cage interaction, I don't know if Colossus stopped Shadow King or not. But
can't have its power reduced. I'm trying to see if it ever came up where someone tried to.
Yeah.
What, Shadow King should reduce his power?
No, I think that Colossus should be impervious to that. That's what I think.
I
Just
agree.
on principle.
That's how I've been playing it, but now that you think about it, I'm trying to think if where someone did try to Shadow King me so I could see whether it works. I assume they also
I would have to test it.
Now I don't actually know. I assumed. That makes him way less good if he can be Shadow King, to be honest.
Never seen that come up. Maybe everybody else assumes that too and just won't play Shadow King.
So that's why I don't know. I don't think I've seen the scenario.
We should get to the bottom of that. Wouldn't be hard to test.
No, I'll test it after this.
I do have, I was playing Irby for fun because he does the double up, you know what I mean? And the double up is good, or getting the extra energy, right? To play something big early can be good. I do think I'm going to end up taking Frankie Ray. I had Cosmo as another pillar, but now I think I'm going to change it. Maybe I'll try Storm. Sounds fun. In that location. I'm now trying also Silver Surfer First Steps, another way to trigger a Nomura, you know what I mean? I'm excited to play around actually now, post changes.
That's cool.
Nomura is so finicky to locations, so the Killmonger hurts that. I used to sometimes play Killmonger and Nomura just to account for Central Parks and stuff. But so that hurts it. But other than that, it's Shang, it's a big concern. So yes, I will definitely be playing more. I've played through lots of iterations, and I was even scoping out changes while we were talking, and I'm excited to do more. So I am happy for Symbiote Spider-Man to still be so good in Nomura. What did you do, Lauren?
My plan, I went into my Symbiote Spider-Man deck with a single plan, which was Human Torch on 6, and then on 7, I can play Ghost Spider and Taskmaster. And as soon as I had it set up the first time, I was like, oh, wait, I don't want Taskmaster to hit the Ghost Spider. Like, this
No,
is
you
dumb.
do not.
But you know what? It worked anyway. It was super strong.
God.
I built it like a Clip Hunter deck. Like, I have Nico Minoru in here. She's in a lot of my decks because the draw 2 is so good. I have Magic. I have Adam Warlock. I have Martyr, who are friends for Nico Minoru to destroy it or to beef up the Adam Warlock lane. Those 4 end up in tons of my Clip Hunting decks. But anyway, the plan is get Zorn down, have a Sparky or 2. I have Frigga and Prodigy here to make extra Sparkies. Nico Move Spell actually proved to be quite helpful in this deck, whether it was setting up the Human Torch or like let Prodigy become a second Sparky, but then get him out of the way. Zorn also helps with that. But then the whole plan is Ghost Spider is in a lane by herself. Well, sorry, she's the only 1 cost in that lane. So Symbiote Spider-Man will target her, play the torch on Zorn. He moves. Symbiote Spider-Man was blocking the lane, so I know for sure Zorn is going to send to the other lane. Becomes Ghost Spider, pulls the torch over because now there's room. It's using the Symbiote Spider-Man merge ability very effectively. Sparky once or twice, and then Taskmaster, and it's just huge. And it lets you play the torch on. You have to play the torch on the second to last turn. But he's not big enough to be a threat yet. So your opponent's like, oh, whatever. I mean, I guess they see the Sparky on the board, but like they don't know what's about to happen, which is Ghost Spider, multiple Sparkies, and then a Taskmaster.
Sparky gives them like a plausible alternate story of what's going to happen next turn.
Yeah,
it's going to go back to that location, and I
guess they should know the Ghost Spider is happening too, but you can mix up the order that those things happen in. Mm-hmm. So it was very cool. I probably played 8-ish games with it, and I won 7 of them. And then the other one was just a retreat because it was Adeline, and I always retreat from Adeline when I'm chasing a clip because it's a terrible location to reset your hand. Unless you're ahead on it, then maybe it's helpful because it's actually drawing cards. Yeah, I'm very excited about Symbiote Spider-Man right now because today, and then we're going to talk about this next week, but today we got news that Jocasta will activate a card that has already been activated. And so it was just like, I got my gears turning and I was thinking, oh, now something that we couldn't do before, we can make Symbiote Spider-Man merge with something and then activate him. Which is really nasty with things like Lasher and, I mean, Scarlet Spider's hard to do because it should be smaller than Jocasta for Symbiote Spider-Man to target it. But I'm very excited about that. I'm going to do very silly things with Symbiote Spider-Man and Jocasta. Mostly they're cute, but like...
Yeah. I was kicking myself for assigning it now. I should have waited.
We can make cute Jocasta decks. I don't know. Anyway, not to get too sidetracked, I actually had a lot of fun with this, making a move deck with a little sneaky Ghost Spider in there. I assign next week's homework. I'm going to pick pretty soft homework this time. It is, I want to hear 1 to 3 other topics besides Marvel Snap that you could talk about for hours. I think it's fun to find out what people are like that into or that well versed in. Okay. Well, listener, viewer, if you liked what you heard and you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment, rate, review, all the things. Interact, help the algorithms, please. We appreciate it. Also, give us life by feeding us comments. Come hang out with us in the Speakeasy, which is our little corner of Discord. It's part of the Snap Judgments League Discord because we are part of the Snap Judgments Network, where you can listen to other great shows like Snap Decisions from Joe, your host with the most, on Mondays. You can find the instructions to get into the Speakeasy in the show notes or video description. Okay. hey, come see what we think about Deadpool's Diner. We won't have played it, but hopefully there will be an announcement of some kind next week. Same Snap time, same Snap channel.
Yay! Dancing to imaginary guitars.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I could hear them. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was so,
What, you guys don't hear?
flattered. Safety Blade named a deck after robots means activate.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
And he shouted
That's
us
pretty
out on the blue sky.
And he climbed to rank 2 with Awesome Andy.
Well, of course he did. I need to see. Oh, I don't have Awesome Andy, though.
That should tell you more about Safety Blade than it does about Awesome Andy. That's fine.
It's accurate.
Maybe I misunderstand the situation.
There's
Who
something
knows?
to be
I'm
said.
rank 2, that's for sure.
Safety is an amazing player, but there's a lot to be said for people just not, like, being experienced with cards, and they don't think about the ways you're going to win. Like, even with Viv, even though she's season pass and she's everywhere, like I said, like, it's just not in there, like...
People are quick to discount her. And, yeah. I greatly admire Safety as a player, and even more so as a deck builder. But it is very hard to know, like... to understand his evaluation of cards, because like he likes cards that aren't good, and it's like, is this card good because you're playing it or because it's actually good? And there's always like an extra layer of interpretation you have to do on top of it.
I don't like anyone who doesn't like some bad cards. You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
You can't trust them. Yeah.
It's true.